Prince Harry has vanished again. No warning, no explanation, no trace. The man who once couldn't walk through a coffee shop without being snapped by paparazzi just disappeared from public life, like a light switch got flipped off. He was confirmed to speak at a global summit, one tied to his own organization. His name was printed on banners, his face used in promotional videos, even the guest list included his presence. And then, nothing. No appearance. No last-minute cancellation. Just silence. But that silence is deafening. Because when someone this high-profile vanishes, people don't just move on, they start asking questions. And the answers, they're nowhere to be found. This wasn't some small, behind-the-scenes meetup. It was a major environmental summit. International press, top leaders, a who's who of climate activism, and smack in the center of it was supposed to be Prince Harry. Not just as a guest, but as a headliner. Founder of Travelist. His baby. His passion project. The one he's promoted as proof that he's more than just a royal runaway. Prince William had already shown up earlier in the week, taking the stage, giving speeches, and being everything the press loves. It was like the old days. A royal doing what royals are supposed to do. Harry was supposed to follow suit. Instead, it was like he never existed. Not a shout-out, not a message. Not even a line in the program saying he couldn't make it. Just blank space. And that's not just weird. That's alarming, because Harry isn't the kind of guy who disappears quietly. He's either on your TV, in your feed, or trending because of some new drama. But this time, not a whisper. Which brings us to the question no one can answer. Where is Prince Harry? Let's talk about Meghan, because her silence might be even more telling than Harry's absence. Usually, when Harry skips something, Meghan jumps in with damage control. A quote on Instagram. A subtle nod in a podcast. Maybe a smiling photo with the kids to shift the conversation. But this time, she's been quieter than ever. No updates, no pictures, no vague captions about healing or growth. Just nothing. And if you know Meghan's brand, you know that's strange. She's built a public image around being seen, being heard, being relevant. Silence isn't just out of character. It's dangerous to their brand. If this were a planned absence, she'd be packaging it, spinning it, selling it. But the fact that she's staying off-grid, that's setting off alarms. Because when people like Meghan go quiet, it usually means something is happening behind the scenes. Something big and probably not good. Then the internet did what it does best. Filled the silence with speculation. Rumors started flying. Fast. Theories that Harry had checked himself into a facility. That it wasn't just exhaustion or stress, but something darker. A relapse, a breakdown, a total collapse behind the scenes. Suddenly, Reddit threads, Twitter posts, and even TikTok videos were flooded with one question. Is Prince Harry in rehab? It sounds wild until you look at the pieces. Harry has openly spoken about his mental health struggles. The trauma of losing his mother, the pressure of royal life. He's admitted to experimenting with substances. He even said once that therapy saved his life. So if he's hit a wall, if something pushed him too far, is it really that unthinkable? And if he did check in, there's a reason it's being kept under wraps. Real treatment centers don't allow phones, no selfies, no leaks, just silence and recovery, which would explain everything. The absence, the lack of media, the eerie quiet from both him and Meghan. And yet, nobody's confirming anything, which only makes the whispers grow louder. Now here's where things take a strange turn. The same week as the summit, there were whispers that George Clooney hosted a private party, and that Harry might have been there instead. A-list names, no cameras allowed, a discreet hangout in some ultra-luxury villa. And sure, on the surface, that sounds like classic Harry, dodging duty for a taste of Hollywood life. But here's the problem. There's no proof. Not a single blurry photo. No sightings, no anonymous tip-offs. And let's be honest, if he had skipped a global event tied to his name just to sip cocktails with Clooney, the press would have feasted on it. But instead, dead silence, which leaves only two possibilities. One, he really was at that party, and every single person there agreed to cover it up, which seems unlikely. Or two, he wasn't at the party, and this whole theory was just a distraction. Smoke and mirrors to pull attention away from what's really going on. And if it's the second option, that's even more disturbing. Let's not forget, Harry wasn't just invited to that summit. He was the face of it. Travelist was his project, his vision, his attempt to prove he could make a global impact outside the palace walls. For years, he's talked about it, fought for it, pushed it as part of his post-royal identity. But when the event happened, his name was wiped clean. No seat, no speech, not even a quick, "Harry sends his regrets." It's like he never had anything to do with it, like someone intentionally erased his involvement. At least for now. And that's not just bad PR. That's a warning sign. Because when the people who built a brand around you start removing your name, something serious is going on behind the scenes. And suddenly, the idea of a quiet breakdown, or even a forced break, doesn't sound so far-fetched anymore. Now, here's the part that really stinks. Usually, the media eats this stuff up. A royal disappears, skips a major event, rumors start flying. That's tabloid gold. But this time, the press is acting like it didn't happen. No royal correspondents are speculating. No morning shows are debating, and not even the trashiest tabloids are pushing conspiracy theories. It's just nothing. And when the press suddenly stops talking about a scandal that's clearly unfolding, it raises a serious red flag. Because either they've all decided to look the other way, which is rare, or someone made them back off. Hard. Some insiders are even whispering that calls were made, that someone high up pulled strings and said, "Not this one." And if that's true, it means there's something they really don't want the public to know. But the longer the silence goes on, the more obvious the cover-up becomes. Because you can't scrub a prince from the spotlight and expect no one to notice. While Harry's MIA, William's been busy polishing his image. At the same summit Harry skipped, William was front and center, leading discussions, charming crowds, earning praise from every angle. It wasn't just a good look, it was a calculated one. Because whether they admit it or not, the royal family is always in PR mode. And William showing up while Harry disappears? That wasn't an accident. It felt like a statement. And here's where the tension gets thicker. What if this isn't just about Harry struggling? What if the split between the brothers is deeper than we thought? Maybe this isn't just personal. Maybe it's political. Maybe someone's making sure Harry's narrative fades quietly, while William's gets louder. And Meghan, she's either trying to control the spin behind the scenes, or watching the whole thing unravel. Either way, this family isn't just fractured. It's on the edge of total collapse. So where does this all lead? What happens if Harry really is off the grid, in a facility, trying to get his life back together? What happens if he wakes up from this fog and realizes he doesn't recognize his own life, the brand, the marriage, the mess? People who go through real recovery often come out changed. They see things clearly, they ask hard questions, and if Harry is going through that now, the aftermath could be massive. Maybe he comes back stronger, a new version of himself. Maybe he reclaims his story and finally finds peace. Or maybe, just maybe, he decides he's done. Done with the spotlight, done with the brand, done with pretending. Maybe the boy who walked behind Diana's coffin is finally walking away from the circus for good. And the scariest part? We may not even see it happen. Because if this really is the breaking point, the unraveling of everything he's built since leaving the palace, then this moment and this silence might be the beginning of the end, or the start of something entirely new. But until someone speaks, until Harry himself steps forward, we're left with only one thing: questions. And in the world of royals, silence always speaks louder than words. What do you think is really going on with Prince Harry? Drop your theories in the comments. Is this a calculated retreat? A breakdown? Or something bigger we're not ready to hear yet? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what happens next. Because if the truth ever comes out, it's going to shake everything.